Good morning, Facebook family. I am going to make a video. This is actually my second video because I deleted the first one that I made last night because I'm ratchet. I'm going to make this video for coronavirus, COVID-19, how it kills and why it kills. And side note, who it kills. Okay, now before I get started, I would like to let you guys know that I am not a shade tree mechanic at this. I started out in the medical field when I was 18 years old, actually before that, but legitimately 18 years old. I started working for Dr. Harvey Jones on Pioneer Avenue in the Unionville Clinic, where I was a phlebotomist, medical assistant, and I would run little labs for him, quick CBCs and things like that. Okay, blood counts and stuff. And I would perform thermography on patients, iontophoresis, EMGs, all of those types of technical and diagnostic tests. I did all of that for him. At that point, I only had my medical assistant, my certified nursing assistant, my phlebotomy, and I was in my by the time I turned 19, I had started working on my laboratory sciences and stuff like that. All right. So I'm not a shade tree mechanic. You know, I joke a lot. Oh, you know what? Let me take my little head bun off, y'all. I forgot. Excuse the girl. Because, you know, we don't, you know what? Look, without my hair bun, y'all, my hair is all over my head. So y'all just going to have to just ignore this. Okay. So anyway, I started out doing that and working for Dr. Jones. And then once I worked for Dr. Jones for a little while, next door to him was a pharmacist. And I would work in the pharmacy department. And he taught me a lot of the things there that he knew and everything. And imparted on me. I didn't have a formal education for that, but I did work in the pharmacy. I've worked in, I was a school nurse in East New York, Brooklyn. I worked out of the East New York Diagnostic and Treatment Center on Pitkins Avenue. I can't even remember how many years I did that and how long ago that was. That was after I had, y'all know my story. I had, you know, a little piece of boyfriend or whatever from Wine-Inch. And, you know, I had went up to New York and whatever. And so I just took different jobs, different places. I worked in the East New York Diagnostic and Treatment Center on Pitkins Avenue. I've worked at North Shore hospitals, pretty much all of them, but mainly in Manhasset. I've worked for Quest Diagnostics, SmithKline, who then turned into Quest, LabCorp, National Laboratories back in the day. A lot of you guys don't know about that. Just did a lot of work in the medical field. I worked on the Healthy Highway Project coming out of, what was the name of the place? I think it's Brookville, Upper Brookville in Long Island. Worked out of that. I've worked in Winthrop Hospital. Trying to think of all the places I've worked. I worked at a school as a school nurse in Brooklyn. I'm trying to think of all what I... Anyway, y'all, let me just tell you right. I'm not a quack. I just said all that to say this. I'm not a quack. Now, I'm going to tell you how COVID kills and why. All right. And I wrote a lot of stuff down so I don't have to skip over and repeat myself, because I tend to get a little passionate about certain things, specifically when it pertains to my people of color. Okay. Now, I want to explain the disease process, and I also want to tell you how it actually kills you. And then I want to give you sort of like a little bit of why these numbers, these statistics that they're giving us are more devastating to the Black community than anyone else. Okay? Especially for people who have pre-existing conditions. If you have high blood pressure, you just set your GoFundMe up now. And I'm not trying to be morbid. Set it up now. If you have high blood pressure and you are not social distancing and isolating yourself, just put your little GoFundMe up now. If you ain't got sense enough to isolate and stay home, just do that. Because I'm going to explain to you why. Because you're on a medication called a ACE inhibitor, right? An ACE inhibitor medication, right? I don't know what kind you're on. There's different ones, but it's an ACE inhibitor, right? This virus uses that. And I'm going to get to that. But we're going to go in order. All right. First, I want to talk about a little bit about vocabulary, because people are using the wrong terms. When this thing first started, we all made jokes, and I'm a laugh. You know, I like to laugh, and we all made jokes and things like that and stuff. But it's serious enough that, all jokes aside, guys, it's time to start educating each other. A lot of the terms that you guys are using are the incorrect terms. So I'm going to give you the actual medical terms and the correct terms. And I'm going to break it down in layman's terms so that you can understand it and explain it to your child when they're screaming and crying because they want to go outside and play with the kids across the street and you're telling them no. Okay? The actual virus. We got nicknames for it, Rona and all that. Coronavirus, Rona, novel this and COVID and all that. The virus, like the black people say, the virus. The actual virus is actually called SARS-CoV-2. The reason it's called SARS-CoV-2 is because we've had 3 of this exact virus. And this is the second form of it. So SARS, this is our third SARS. Coronavirus, 2. SARS, this is our third one. Coronavirus, and 2. Okay? So we've had 3 and 2 forms. This is the second form. Now, SARS-CoV-2, which means 3 SARS, COVID-2, which is the disease that it causes coronavirus. And COVID-19 is the year in which the new one came out, right? So we're saying Nova coronavirus or COVID-19. COVID-19 is coronavirus disease 2019, okay? COVID-19 is coronavirus disease 2019, okay? So even though we've had coronavirus before, we have not had this kind. And this is why I'm making this tape, because we were all making jokes and things and stuff like that. And I blame myself because I know better. I knew I was prepared. I would get on Facebook and make jokes with you guys, but I would log off and I would start preparing myself because I knew it was coming. And I really beat myself up right now. I really beat myself up right now because I really should have not done that. I should have been more serious about it. Because some of y'all don't have enough sense to know what a joke is, okay? So anyway, that's what that is. Now, coronavirus itself is a group of viruses, guys. And it's like, it comes in like a family of viruses. And they have been with us for, you know, a lot of years, a long time. 1965, I believe. 1965 is when the first one crossed over into the human species, right? Now, we know that the word novel means new. It's not like a book you read. This is just new. So we're calling this novel coronavirus. And that is why this information that I'm giving you is so important. Because we're all talking about the coronavirus has been around. Look on the back of your Lysol can. We've all been making jokes and stuff and everything. But the reason this is serious is this is novel. Now, you watch TV, you watch the news. I don't. Not right now. You're watching the TV, you're watching the news, and you're listening to the experts. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of intel. Novel means new, which means the experts are making educated guesses. No one really knows for sure. Y'all, let me fix my little headband. I don't like when it look like that. No one really knows for sure. This virus is new. And because this virus is new, we don't have an immunity to it. Okay? There is no immunity to it. We don't have a vaccine and we don't have an immunity to it because it's new. So those who had coronavirus before and beat it, if it was before 2019, which is the new Nova coronavirus, Nova COVID-19, this is not the one you had. And you don't have immunity to it. And you can get it again. Okay? Now, because it's new, we don't have immunity to it. And what that means is any and every, and I'm stressing every black people, because we got this thing on it that it can't happen to us. Anyone who comes in contact with the virus, and everyone who comes in contact with the virus, will get infected. And this is why they're asking you to isolate and to social distance and not be up close on people and to wash your hands and be mindful. Because when you come in contact with that virus, and what I mean by contact, I mean nose and mouth, through your respiratory, which we're going to get into in a minute, because I really want to go down line. So I kind of like outline each point I want to talk about. I ain't writing no information down. Everything else is off the top of my head for just years of working in the medical field. And I'm trying to give you as much and as accurate and as much information as I can give you without sidetracking, because y'all know I can go around the block when I talk sometimes. So anyway, it's new. We don't have an immunity to it. Anyone who comes in contact with this virus is going to get it. Everyone who comes in contact with this virus is going to get it. Now, some people are going to have mild symptoms. And when I say mild symptoms, I'm talking about the cough, chest congestion, the cough, and the fever and things like that. Those are considered mild, right? And then some people are going to seem asymptomatic, which means they don't have any symptoms. But actually you do have symptoms, but those symptoms are not detectable by just walking around and living. Those symptoms are in your blood pressure going up. Those symptoms are in your smell going away. You can't smell as good as you used to. You can't taste food as good as you used to. Those are what they call asymptomatic, because those symptoms, you wouldn't think you're sick. If you walk outside and every day you smell your gardenia bush. I have a gardenia. Where I'm staying now, I'm staying in my little cabin up in the mountains. We went up in the mountains to get away from humankind right now because we saw that people weren't taking it serious enough. And I need to protect my kids and stuff. And I have James, I put him on the alkaline diet and he's doing great and everything now, but he's so new with being great. I'm not going to take no chances with mine. So I brought my whole family up in the mountains. That's what we are, at our little bug out spot. We got when Trump got elected. So anyway, we're away from humankind. I see deers, raccoons. I don't see no people. This is why this is important to self-distance and isolate, because anybody who comes in contact with it is going to get it. Even those people who don't show symptoms actually do have symptoms, but they don't realize that those are the symptoms of the coronavirus, okay? Now, everyone who gets it is a carrier and can pass it on to someone else. This is why social distancing and isolation is vital. This is why if you have elderly people in your home, or you have someone that you're living with that has a compromised immune system, it is sacrilege to go to the store to get a Black and Mild. It's sacrilege. It's sacrilege to go to Domino's and get a pizza because the delivery gonna take too long. It's raw. You're putting their life in danger because you're going to get it. You're going to bring it home. And because you're asymptomatic and you don't feel the symptoms, they may be different because they are older. Maybe they have high blood pressure. Maybe they have diabetes. Maybe they have gout. Different things, allergies, asthma, any of that stuff. It's almost like a death sentence to have those things now. So this is why they're asking you to please stay home. Don't go out with people. Don't go around. Don't gather in large groups. And I really have a problem with that number of them telling you don't gather in large groups, because I think in the Black community, we need to be telling people don't gather at all. And I'm going to get into that in a minute. All right. So now the asymptomatic people, you don't have smell as good as you used to. You don't have taste as good as you used to. Now, out of all of the people, 80% that get coronavirus, which is eventually by August, it will be every single person in the United States, except for those who strictly isolated, and those who strictly isolated with great immune systems and alkaline bodies, electric bodies, vegan bodies, the Dr. Sebi bodies, those people like that. Now, don't think that because you're on Dr. Sebi's diet that you won't get it. You still can get it, but you will present as asymptomatic, because when you're on Dr. Sebi's diet and your body is electric, what it does is when viruses and things do enter your body attacks those things at a faster rate than most people. So you'll get it, but it won't be as long, it won't be as harsh, it won't be as bad. But you're still a carrier of it. Novel, new. We're just learning these things, right? That's why every day the information starts to change and shift. Okay, so 80% of the people will have mild symptoms. 20% of those people will need to be hospitalized. And out of the 20% of the people who will need to be hospitalized, I had to actually call my friend Nancy Lynch and get these numbers, and she gave me some good numbers. 20% of those that are hospitalized, half of those people will need to be put in ICU and be on a respirator. That's a key point I want you guys to remember. So now, when you have those huge numbers, like they're concentrated in the, I'm from Wyandanch, and it's a huge concentration. If you look on the map, in that zip code of 11798, it's a huge concentration of confirmed cases, and which worries me, because confirmed cases are not the number. It's the confirmed cases plus anyone that they have come in contact with, and anyone who has touched anything that they have touched. Because I'm going to tell you what a fomite is. Once I tell you what a fomite is, and you take your happy ass up out your house and kill people, I don't know what the ancestors are going to do to you. So now, when you have the huge numbers like we do in Wyandanch, we don't have enough respirators in our hospitals for these people who are going to need these respirators. Now, people think they won't need a respirator, and I'm going to tell you who's going to need one. And when I tell you who's going to need a respirator, you're going to sit your whole ass in bleach. Now, respirators are the key in how this virus kills, okay? Because I told you I was going to tell you what the disease was, the definitions, and now how it kills. So now we're at the point of how it kills. Now, COVID-19, which is a novel virus, new COVID, SARS, which is a formation of SARS in the coronavirus family. This is a respiratory virus, like the flu. And stuff. It's a respiratory virus. So in order for it to infect you, it has to get into your nose and your mouth, right? Now, let me see what I can. I'm sitting at my little table, y'all, and I don't really have much over here. Just a little fruit bowl here. This is a fomite. This is a fomite. This pretty ring is a fomite. My fingernails are fomites. My bracelet is a fomite. My robe is a potential fomite. My hair is a fomite. A fomite is something that an affected person touches or sneezes on, coughs on, or anything, and the bacteria or virus gets on that object. Someone else comes along, touches that object. Now the virus is on their hand. Now your nose itch. You're infected. You're driving and you see your lipstick might not be right. You're infected. You pull your little hair and you just chilling and you on the gram and you doing all this and you touch your little hair and then the wind blow. That's a fomite. You're infected. Okay? And the reason we don't have enough respirators is because people are not isolating and they're not self-distancing. So more people are getting infected. And when the numbers of people who are getting infected rise, the numbers of people who are going to need the hospital, because we said 20%, and those people are going to need, and 10% of those are going to need ICU, and they're going to need respirators, and they're not going to have them because off the top of my head, DJ Jazzy Jeff decided he was going to go to Red's discount store and get those bamboo earrings for his girl, and he touched the door going in, he touched the counter, he exchanged money, and he did all this, and then somebody else came behind him and they got that change that he had, and so forth and so on. The door's touched, then he picks his cell phone up. Yo, G, what you doing? That's a phone right now. Touching the phone. Somebody say his girlfriend go. She know he's a fucking bum. He go to sleep. She pick his phone up. She take her little finger and touch it. Now she looking through to see who all he fucking, and now she's fucked. Because that's a fomite. This is why hand washing is important. Staying inside is important. Okay? So we now know what a fomite is. Anything that an infected person touches, breathes on, coughs on. When a person coughs, it's a potential 6 feet. That's what they tell you. People in the medical field, you know it's longer. We say 6 feet because we don't want panic. You know, depending on the humidity and the altitude and all of that, it could be a lot further. That's why my black ass is up in the mountains with my kids. Okay? This disease, they told us it was a contact disease, which is true. But they didn't tell us that it was an airborne disease, because by the SARS and all of those being contact, they just, oh, it's contact. But this is a novel, new. And it actually spreads through contact and fomites. You could touch a person, hug a person, contact, kiss them, lay up all on their chest, your man over and he cheating on you and he fall asleep. So you all up under him with his cell phone, take a picture, send it out to all his girls. I'll be doing that very soon. No, I'm just kidding. Now you're infected. It can be infected through fomites, touching objects. But guess what? It's airborne. And people are saying that it's not airborne. I'm telling you that it is. The reason it's airborne is because we're in the spring season. The pollen count is high. We got the spring. We got new things coming up. It's a little dusty and everything. These viruses go, they come, they get aerated is the best way I can say it. They get aerated. And they can actually go through the air. And that is why people are wearing masks. And you got the debate as to whether a mask is going to protect you or not. Now, remember, this is a new virus, novel coronavirus, right? Novel coronavirus, right? So in the beginning, they were saying, oh, you don't need a mask because it's going to get moist and this and that and the other. Let me tell you something. Let me get real. Can I get wine dance for a minute? Put the fucking mask on. Put the gloves on. If you got to use shopping bags, y'all black folks got that shit all up in your house, or them bags and shit. If you got to slip them shits on your kids' shoes and tie it when they walk out your house, and take them shits off when they come in, because they don't take their shoes off in the house. If you got to tie plastic bags on their hand and plastic bag on your hair, mask and gloves. If you got to go and get one of them dollar ponchos and drape it all over yourself, do it. Because this is a new virus. It mutated. This is the third kind like this. The third virus out of this family, and the second type. Which means that this is the first of this second type. Which means we don't know enough to definitively tell you that the mask is not going to protect you. Okay? We don't know enough. And I would hate to tell you don't wear a mask. And then 2 weeks later, medical data comes out to say this thing is full-blown airborne. And then you go home and you scratch your mama head and put the blue magic in it. And 3 weeks later, she's gone. Because I told you that the mask is a stupid idea. People, we need to start looking out for each other, and we need to start being more careful. And we need to stop caring what people think about it. I don't run. I don't run from nobody. I don't run from nothing. I'm what you call, I've been called brave so much. I'm what you call a brave soul. I'll fight a man. I'll do, all kind. I've never been a scared person like that. So when I packed my shit up and closed my business and headed up into the mountains, smart people started doing it too, because they know I don't run. So if I leave, I must know something, right? Now I'm sharing it with you because there's too many people that are not taking this seriously. Now, these droplets get onto fomites and they get aerosolized. I never could say that word, aerosolized. And they go into your oral airway, your oral tract. A lot of people don't know anatomy of the body. Your oral, your respiratory tract goes into your nose and your mouth, down into your esophagus, into your lungs. Now, this is how it kills you. Your lungs have two types of cells. And your lungs is responsible for your oxygen and, getting the oxygen in and exchanging it. And there's two cells that help it do that. Okay. They have air pockets, which give you the gas exchange. And the two cells in those are type 1 pneumocytes. Now, these do an exchange like you breathe in. And now it's coming in, right? And then it takes that and uses it for all the different organs in your body. And when you exhale, CO2 comes out. That feeds the plants, by the way. The type 1 is the pneumocytes, right? And not type 2. This is how it kills you. And this is how come everyone needs to be careful. I'm not saying panic. This is why you need to be careful. Now, the type 2 cell in your lung is called the surfactant, right? And it's the goo. It's like this nasty, gooey type. Anybody ever seen a autopsy and they go into the lungs and it's got that, I call it hair gel. That is what you call the surfactant, right? And now the surfactant is this layer on the lungs, and it's a thin lining, and it covers these things that we call the alveoli, and it helps the lungs collapse and expand. Lungs go in and out. This is what keeps you breathing and alive, right? Your lungs is contracting and expanding, right? Now this virus, novel, new, we're just learning these things. This virus targets the type 2 cells. Okay, and it targets the pneumocytes, and it targets the surfactants. But this is the part that really kills me. With people who have high blood pressure, you are on a medicine called ACE inhibitor, right? It's some kind of medicine. It's an ACE inhibitor, right? What this disease actually does is the ACE inhibitor, for guys that don't know, this is called the let me see, top of my head, angiotensin converting enzyme, right? I should have known that, y'all. That's like me saying, what color is my eyes? And then I'll be like, oh, gray, blue, green. Yeah. Okay, so it's the angiotensin converting enzyme. And when you have high blood pressure, you're on a medication called the ACE inhibitor, right? And they got different types and stuff, right? And so this is why people who have high blood pressure die easier. Not just the people who are on the medicine. I'm just trying to correlate to you. Those who are on the medicine, you see that you're on an ACE inhibitor, right? But anyone with a high blood pressure, hypertension, whether you're diagnosed or not, because you're seeing people now that die and the age was at one thing and now it's lower and lower and lower. And you're wondering, gee, why is this 40-something-year-old, 30-something-year-old black person dead? They had high blood pressure and it went undetected. They didn't get it checked. They didn't know about it. They weren't on medication. Their blood pressure got a little high for a little while. They would have a little headache, and they would stop eating salt for a couple of days, and then the headache go away, and they feel like they're doing something. Or grandmama said, just take one aspirin every day and you'll live longer. So they took the one aspirin every day, but they still are undiagnosed and untreated for high blood pressure. So then they get this virus, they go into the hospital, and they're dead. And I'm gonna tell you, it happens fast. You go from 0 to 60. Fast. Stay home. Now, the virus targets the ACE cells, right? And now this virus, it enters and it starts to kill off those type 2 cells. It starts to kill them off. Once the virus kills those off, right? Your body your immune defense and your body starts to fight back. I'm about to bitch slap this thing. Because the virus get in and it starts attacking those cells. So now your body is now in saving mode, right? It's in your lungs. It's the saving mode, right? But it kills these type 2 cells. Then it morphs and mimics them. So now your body says, oh shit, there wasn't nothing here. It's like somebody step on your shoe in the club. Y'all ready to square up. And then he be like, yo, I'm sorry. And put a little stack in your hand. It's like that. Now, so when these type 2 cells die, it causes a huge inflammation in your lungs. And it starts to produce the interleukin 1, the interleukin 6. I'm trying to think of all the interleukins. There's hundreds of them, y'all. You know, that's our old lab days. I used to have to do them manually. Now we got machines, the Remstar and all that. It starts to release all the interleukins and stuff. And those are the things that actually start trying to fight it. And then they'd be like, you know what? Nothing to see here. So now your immune response is actually how you die. Your immune response is how you die. Because once this happens, once those cells start dying off, once this virus starts mimicking those cells, and it starts filling your lungs up with fluid, and you're basically your lungs is working really hard, and the harder they, and now it's killing those cells. And remember, those cells keep the lungs movable, right? Once those cells start dying, the lungs start to harden. And that's why they say you have damage to your lungs after you have COVID. You have damaged lungs after. So pretty much everybody who get it gonna have some form of damage, even if it's like a little pinpoint of it. You know? But this is how you die. It starts killing off those cells. The lungs start hardening and not able to work. And then your body starts trying to push and work harder. And your lungs just work hard. And this is when you're going to start feeling like you can't breathe. And like 2 seconds ago, you was chilling watching Lauren Lake. And now all of a sudden, you can't breathe. And now you got to get to the hospital. And when you get there, they don't have enough respirators. Because Big Boy needed a black and mild. Okay? So now the doctor will come into your family. You're in there. They throw you on a respirator because they want to help you breathe because you can't breathe, right? God willing, you make it to the hospital. You're hearing people are so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry you're here in the hospital with the COVID. I'm glad you're there. I'm glad you're there. The people who don't have any symptoms, stay home. Don't overwhelm the health system. But the people who are in the hospital, I'm glad you're there, because this process goes from 0 to 60 so fast. Hold your breath, and however long you can hold your breath, that's about as much as time you got to get on a respirator before you're coded. I'm not trying to scare you. I want you to stay home. Now your lungs are working harder. They're starting to get hard, and the fluid is in your alveoli, and they're getting hard. And now you got this thing that we call, where your lungs are starting to fill up with fluid. Your breathing is difficult. Your lung tissue starting to get your lung tissue starting to get hard. And now the doctor comes into your family. And, you know, as y'all at the machine hitting it, trying to get the chips to come down, the doctor walks over to you, Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, whatever, your son, your mother, your grandmother. Their lungs are doing what we call tire. They're going to tell you that their lungs are tiring, right? Because your lungs can't move that good on their own and exchange the oxygen, what you need to live. And they call it tire. And then they say, you know what? We want to put them on the respirator. We want to get them to breathe. Because this is to the point now. If you hear them say that their lungs have tired, or their lungs are tiring, or we feel that she's tiring, they're not going to say die or anything like that. They're going to actually use that word, tiring or fatiguing. Okay? When you hear those words, already just had a GoFundMe tapped up. And I'm not trying to be morbid. Already have it typed up if you ain't got burial insurance. Already have it typed up. And I don't want to hear nobody talk about, but God, the glory of Jesus and all that. It's a lot of Christians dying from this, that pled the blood of Jesus while they was laying on that bed. I'm coming at you with a scientific point to let you know what's going to happen. So you're not walking around being in shock or thinking that this is something that's not serious as it is. Now, when they come in, they're going to use the word either fatigue or tired. They're tiring. We're feeling that they're getting fatigued and this and that and the other. We want to put them on the respirator. They put them on the respirator, incubate them and all that kind of stuff. This is called acute respiratory distress syndrome, right? Your lungs are dying. They're tired. They've worked too hard. This virus has gotten in. It has mimicked the other cells. So now your immune system thinks it's supposed to be there. All the while it's killing your lung tissue and filling them up with fluid, which we call pneumonia. Pneumonia. Infected bacterial fluids on your lungs. It's pneumonia. And now you have pneumonia. Your lungs is getting tired. You're not breathing. They got you on the respirator. And even though they got you on the respirator, helping your little lungs push, your lungs say, you know what? That little air you giving me, that shit ain't paying my rent. Fuck this shit. Fuck that nigga. And your lungs punk out. And you're dead. And this is why this is serious. Because if you look at the map, I haven't looked at it in a while because I'm like, you know what? I don't even need to see it. I'm at the point now, guys, and I hate to sound morbid. I'm at the point now, guys, where I really am just going to tally up the death toll at the end of this, like maybe July, August. We're actually going to peak in July. People think this thing going to be over soon. You know, you got people still talking about Wine Dance Day. I'm like, you know what? Cancel it for now. Put it off. Put it for Labor Day or September, Labor Day or something. Because you're hurting people by if you're going to have it now. Because we got to wait for it to peak. We're not even at the peak yet. And the only way we're going to know when we're at the peak is when the numbers start coming back down. Okay? Because the peak, we're going up every day, right? We don't know we're at the peak until we start coming back down. Okay? And that's when we're going to know our total numbers. They're expecting, and hopefully with people staying inside, social distancing, washing their hands more, taking all of the precautions that they need to take. They're hoping that we peak late June, mid-July. Cancel the firecrackers. You're not getting them. Okay? They're hoping we peak then, which means that the highest amount per day will there, and then each day it'll come. So now, let's say we peak on July 4th, right? 4th of July. Let's say we peak on July 4th. And I'm throwing out numbers here that are not going to be numbers that are actually accurate. I'm just giving you an example of numbers, okay? Don't nobody get in my comments talking about, well, actually the number of deaths right now is this and that. Oh, fuck you, bitch. I'm trying to educate my people. Okay. I said that for the one person that always do that to me, y'all. So let's say on July 4th we peak. Let's say on July 4th we got 10 dead, right? And that's the highest number we had. And we know that's a very low number because we're way past that. But let's say 10 dead, right? So then July 5th we have 9. July 6th we have 8. July 7th we have 7. Like that. And now we're going down. So don't think just because we peak, it's going to stop. Peak don't mean stop. Peak means that's the highest number we're going to get. Then we're going to start coming back down. Okay? So this is why I want you guys to be diligent. I want you to wash your hands. And sanitize. I'm going to tell you this about hand sanitizer. Why I don't like hand sanitizer. Remember MRSA, the Middle Eastern respiratory virus, which is actually in this family. And people were on the cruise ship using hand sanitizer and they were actually spreading it. Hand sanitizer is like an insurance policy. Washing your hands with soap and water is the best practice right now. Everybody should be using soap and water. If you're just using hand sanitizer, you're killing people because you're not doing enough. You got, especially women who